Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another edition of NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate ringsidenews.com. Got your questions here via spring.me/AaronRift, so let's get right down to it with the first one from Creature13. How much longer do you think the Authority storyline will last? I think with Daniel Bryan winning the WWE title at WrestleMania, that is the peak of the Authority storyline. I think that we will start to see that particular storyline wind down, and I think that the emphasis is going to be shifted from the Authority to Evolution now, and the storyline will go in a different direction. That's just how I see it at this point. There's really no need to keep the Authority storyline going. Daniel Bryan overcame the odds, got the title, and now I think it's time to start moving in a new direction post-WrestleMania. And this one comes from King Arth93. Hi Aaron, with the current Shield versus Authority storyline, do you see Roman Reigns turning heel, abandoning Rollins and Ambrose to join Evolution in the vacant future spot? That is an interesting concept that you brought up. Roman Reigns turning heel and joining Evolution and being that fourth guy. I think that you could do that, but Roman Reigns is gaining momentum as a babyface, and I think that you can get more out of Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins turning heel and turning on Roman Reigns. But at the same time, when The Rock started getting hot, he turned babyface, and then all of a sudden he turned heel again and joined the corporation. So I could possibly see something like that happening. It certainly would be a bit of a swerve, and I think people would be thrown off by it. It would be a shocker if Roman Reigns was the one to turn heel when people were expecting Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins to be the ones that turned on Roman Reigns. Definitely an interesting idea that you mentioned here. Don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it could very well work. Roman Reigns as the fourth guy being groomed as the next top main eventer. That would be a big shocker in WWE for sure. Alright, this one comes from WWE fan Dark Arrow. Hey Aaron, from this point forward, what will WWE do with Christian? I want to see him have one more title run, but I also want new talent to go over. Unfortunately for Christian, I think that all the injuries over the years are starting to catch up with him, and he had a concussion and he keeps getting injured. It could just be time for Christian to step away. As much as he has been a big part of WWE over the years, and as much as he has gotten over with the fans and they've been behind him, they've wanted to see him in the main events, things happen. People get hurt, and as you get older, your body breaks down. And I think when he came back to WWE in 2009, the idea was that he would come back and have one last run where he could make the big money on a big stage before retiring. And now it's 2014. He's had a very good run in WWE since coming back. He did win the world title, and he's been in that upper mid-card level, and he's made good money. It just might be time. Sometimes you just have to listen to your body, and if your body's telling you it's time to stop, then you need to stop. And it would be nice to have Christian around to help out with some of the younger talent, not necessarily working with young talent on WWE television, but behind the scenes doing stuff with the developmental. I could very well see Christian still having a role in that regard. But yeah, it's looking more and more like his days as a regular at the top in WWE, or even the upper mid-card. It looks like those days are coming to an end. Alright, this one comes from John Drix Romano. Hey Aaron, how are you doing? I got a question. With several guys leaving TNA, such as Chris Sabin and possibly Daniels, just to name a few, do you see those guys going to Jeff Jarrett's new promotion? Absolutely. I think that Jeff Jarrett will definitely be making a play for many of these now former TNA guys, such as Chris Sabin and maybe Daniels and AJ Styles. I think that it makes a lot of sense for Jeff Jarrett to try and pick up some of these guys that are very highly regarded by the fans, guys that many fans feel have been underutilized and TNA didn't do enough with them. I think Jeff Jarrett will absolutely try to bring those guys in and have them be part of his new group. But I think at the same time, for Jeff Jarrett's promotion to have any kind of long-term success, they're going to need to have their own homegrown talent and create some new stars. But in order to create new stars, you have to have them get over, and sometimes in order to get those guys over, you need to have established guys come in and work with that young talent. So it's a good. You need a good, healthy balance between veterans and legends and new talent. So we'll see what happens with Jeff Jarrett's promotion. But yeah, I think there's a very good chance that guys like Chris Sabin will end up with Jeff Jarrett and maybe even back with TNA, depending on if there's a kind of bidding war. And we'll just have to wait and see how far things go with Jarrett's promotion. But I mean, it's definitely a good sign for people like Chris Sabin when you have a little bit of negotiating and you can bargain and you can have two sides fight over you. I mean, that's definitely a positive for a lot of guys. And I got one more question here from Mr. Romano. Do you watch other shows other than wrestling? If so, do you watch boxing? Well, obviously I do watch other shows besides wrestling. Wrestling is not 100% my life, believe it or not. But as far as other sports, no, I don't watch boxing. Don't watch UFC. Tried watching UFC. Wasn't really able to get into it. And boxing is the same thing for me. I mean, I am not a fan of guys hurting each other for real. And yes, I know it's about the competition and the spirit of competition and training for these fights and all that, but I just don't like watching guys hurting other guys for real. So I mean that's just my personal taste, and I've never been able to really get into boxing or UFC. All right, this one comes from Craig Humpage1. Hey Aaron, I just realized that Adam Rose is Leo Kruger. He seemed to have a decent chance at success before. Why did they change him to this stupid gimmick? Your thoughts, please answer in video, and thank you for the videos. I don't really know what the deal is with the new character. I mean, it's gotten over with the NXT crowd, and there's a small cult fan base for this Adam Rose character. Honestly, I don't see it working on a mainstream long-term level, but we shall see. Anything's possible, but from how I see things, it's going to be something like the second coming of Fandango. Maybe it'll be over for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, but I just don't see it having all that much mileage. But I really don't know why they've decided to make the change, other than the fact that, the Adam Rose character is something unique and different, and I will give it that. It's something different, but I really have serious doubts that it's going to have any kind of long-term success. All right, this one comes from Joa O. Felipe 315. Hey Aaron, how far do you think Sami Zayn will go in WWE? To me, he is one of the best wrestlers they have, but I see him not getting the push he deserves because of his size. What do you think? I really want to see Sami Zayn make it in WWE. I think that he is one of the best talents that hasn't appeared on the main WWE roster up to this point of the guys that are out there right now. Going back to El Generico and PWG, I mean, I was watching that guy for years. 10 years ago, I remember going to the PWG shows, and he always blew me away. I always thought that he had one of the best matches of the night every single show I went to. So, he definitely has it in the ring. It's just a matter of, will he be able to get over despite his size? I think the odds are against him getting really far in WWE. I think he will get to the main roster at some point. I think WWE would be crazy not to give him an opportunity, considering the fact that Daniel Bryan became a huge success and they were very much against giving him any kind of significant role. So I'm hoping that he does make it and he does have some allies that are in high places in WWE. I really do feel that he works like Shawn Michaels, the way he sells, the way that he makes his comebacks. I just think that he's a tremendous in-ring performer. And, I think that despite the size, if given the opportunity, he could go very far in WWE. So we'll see what happens. I think at the least he will make it to an Evan Bourne-like level, but being the next Daniel Bryan, I mean that's definitely a long shot, I think. All right, this next one comes from Mega Drive 144. Hey Aaron, I've been watching the show for 2 years now and love it. Do you think Daniel Bryan will ever turn heel again, or will he be like John Cena? I would love to know. I doubt it. I think that Daniel Bryan will probably never be a heel again, although they could try and make him a heel again. I just don't see people booing him. I think Daniel Bryan has gotten to that point where people are going to be behind him no matter what he does, and there's no way you'll be able to turn him heel and get people to boo him. And he's one of those guys like Sting and Ricky Steamboat where he is just naturally a good baby face, and he's good in that underdog role, the guy that you think doesn't have it in him, but he can overcome the odds. And he's known for doing all the flashy moves and the high-flying stuff. And I just don't think that you can take him seriously as a heel. And part of it is the size, too. I mean, he's a small guy, and to be a really strong heel, you need to have the size so you can, look down at your opponent. You can be the bully. Ryback makes a good heel because he's this giant man who can just be a great bully. Those are the kind of guys that work well as heels. Daniel Bryan's small, and he moves quick. He just fits the mold of your typical babyface. So, and the fact that he's gone as over as he has gotten, and the yes chants have caught on. I just think it's highly unlikely he'll ever be a major heel again. He could probably do the talking part, but I don't think that would be enough for people to actually to convince them to boo him. I just don't think it'll happen. All right, that'll wrap things up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it on Facebook and Twitter. Tell a friend about NoDQ&A video, and I will see you guys next time for more. Thanks for watching.